All right, we're diving into a huge shakeup happening in the real estate industry right now. It's all about new rules, a ton of money, and a brand new type of brokerage that could honestly change everything for agents. Let's get right into it.
And look, I'm not being dramatic when I say huge. One source put it perfectly. The industry is in the middle of a seismic shift. So what's causing the ground to move under one of the biggest industries in the country?
Well, it all comes down to one thing: a single, landmark legal settlement. And it involves the biggest name in the game, the National Association of Realtors, NAR.
To really get the scale of this, just look at this number: $418 million. That's what NAR agreed to pay back in March of 2024 to settle some major antitrust claims. A number that big doesn't just end a lawsuit, it's a signal that the old way of doing things is over. You see, this whole thing wasn't just about paying a fine. It fundamentally changed how agents have to operate. Two big things happened. First, the MLS, that's the big database of homes for sale, can't show what the buyer's agent will get paid anymore. And second, agents now have to get a signed agreement with a buyer before they can even start showing them houses. The bottom line here is that these new rules just added a whole lot of friction to the process.
And you know what happens when new friction, new rules pop up in any industry, right? People immediately start looking for a workaround. Agents still need the MLS, that's non-negotiable. But now they're asking, do we really need to follow all of NAR's new rules just to get access? And that question has led to a completely different kind of brokerage.
And here it is. This is the key that unlocks this whole new model, the Thompson Broker. Now, it sounds kind of technical, but the idea is actually super simple. It comes from a court case way back in 1991, and it basically means that in some states, you can get access to the MLS without having to join NAR. You get the most important tool in the toolbox, but you're not tied to the association's rules or their fees.
Now, I've got to be clear, this isn't an option everywhere, at least not yet. The court ruling that makes this possible only applies to what's called the 11th Circuit. That covers Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. So for now, this is really a regional thing, but believe me, everyone is watching to see how it plays out.
Okay, this chart really lays out the night and day difference here. On one side, you've got your traditional brokerage. They're governed by NAR's rules, plus state and local laws. They're paying dues at every level, national, state, and local. And crucially, they are stuck with those new settlement rules. But then you look at the Thompson model. They only have to worry about state law and MLS policy, no NAR dues, and they are not bound by that settlement. It's just a way leaner, simpler way to operate.
So that's the theory. But what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at a fantastic case study from the source material, a brokerage down in Florida called Easy Realty. They are absolutely crushing it as a non-NAR firm. Instead of all those complicated, sometimes confusing commission splits, their model is just simple. For every single transaction side an agent closes, so whether they're helping the buyer or the seller, they pay the brokerage a flat fee. That's it, just $495. And this is the part that really makes agents' ears perk up. That fee is capped. Once an agent pays a total of $4,950 in a year, which is the same as closing 10 sides, they get to keep 100% of their commission for the rest of the year. That kind of financial predictability is just incredible.
And the final piece of the financial puzzle for their agents, the cherry on top? Zero. That is how much they pay in NAR, state, or local association dues. All those fees that can add up to thousands of dollars a year, they're just gone.
So you start to put all of this together, right? The simple fees, the cap, no dues, and you can really see why this model is turning heads. So let's just quickly recap the big advantages that are pushing agents to make this switch.
This slide just spells it out perfectly. I mean, first, lower fixed costs. That's a no-brainer. The dues are gone, you get way more policy clarity because you're not trying to navigate 3 different sets of rules. For the brokers, it makes these agent-friendly economic models not just possible, but profitable, which of course gives them a massive recruiting advantage. And maybe the biggest one of all, right now, they're immune to all those new NAR settlement rules.
So for any brokers watching this, thinking, this is interesting, the source material lays out some really clear next steps. First, you got to evaluate the MLS access rules in your state. See if this is even an option. Then you decide if this lean model actually fits your business goals. If it does, you have to shout your value proposition from the rooftops. And finally, you absolutely have to train your agents on how to thrive in this new world of buyer agreements and off-MLS negotiations. And that brings us to the final, and I think most critical question in all of this. If agents can get the essential tools they need, like the MLS, without being tied to the association's rules and paying their dues, What does that mean for the future of those associations? It is the million-dollar question the entire industry is asking right now. Thanks for watching.